Greetings and salutations, friends, audience, interwebs, fam. Hello, strangers that watch video game play by other strangers, and welcome to this live stream multi-platform content creation show. This is the almost daily variety gaming live stream show extravaganza, and we will be getting started in just a moment. Please stand by.
Connecting to Twitch TV /MrZeppo. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night to you. And welcome to the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo's almost daily variety gaming live stream show. Hosted by yours truly, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. Music collaboratively created between me, myself, and I, and our imaginary sidekick, DjZed. Take a tour of the many dimensions of the Zeppoverse by visiting solo.to/MrZeppo. Please stand by. The live stream will commence shortly. Please be advised, this live stream channel is a cannabis-friendly zone. All viewers are recommended to be aware of their own local legislation and/or regulations about cannabis use. And always, please be of appropriate age. This is a relaxed and groovy game stream, so kick back, light 'em up if you got 'em, and brace yourselves for some relaxed and groovy game streaming. Chat interaction is welcome. Don't be shy, say hi. Let's get to it, friends. Please give a warm welcome to your host, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to the Almost Daily Variety Gaming live stream show. Well, we're going to fire up the old Xbox today and jump into some variety multiplayer gaming. Sorry about that. Sexy time advert chatbot just then, intruding on our live stream show with some spam. It shouldn't come back. It's a hassle, though. I'm going to have to do that every time. Go over the thing and click on the things. But at least it recognized me, and I didn't have to, like, sign in and whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, the modern world we live in. So many thoughts, friends. But I won't bore you with my deep, sometimes dark, sometimes cynical, sometimes jubilantly not those things thinky thoughts of my thinkiness here on this live stream show, except to tease and say that that's what my podcast is all about. Come on over and join me on a journey backwards and forwards through time as you dig deep into the archive of many an episode, which you can enjoy and peruse. Just put the playlist on and let them play for a while. Zone out to the ramblings of this wild and wacky 90s style radio talk show opinion host. I do not pretend to be an expert about anything, but I do tell you my opinion on just about everything in the show. Not the least of which, warning, spoiler alert, my most honest and civically responsible public discourse, concerns, thoughts, criticisms, critiques, and most importantly, questions about the political shenanigans that have been going on over the past 6 years or so. Check out the podcast. It's called the Almost Daily Zencast. This soothing and relaxing voice, yet intellectually stimulating, chit-chattery for your audio indulgence. If you appreciate a podcast that is different from all other podcasts, that feels like an interesting and civilized discussion with your smart but slightly wackadoodle friend, that's the show for you. Come on down, check it out. You can find all the different platforms that you can listen to it on my little collection page over on solo.to/MrZeppo. Watch the chat above for the link. The chat bots drop it every once in a while. My authorized chat bots will drop my link every once in a while. Chatbots of any other kind beyond the ones that I turn on myself over here on my Streamlabs or my Stream Elements are not welcome. Please and thank you. Don't add them to me as friends on any of the platforms. Okay, friends. So today, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night to you. It's Saturday. I had no idea what day it was. When I said that sentence as if I was about to tell you what day it was. Today, Friday, 2 p.m. No clue. I totally blank. I was like, I feel like I'm in a room in Vegas somewhere, where like I haven't seen a clock or the sun in an ungodly amount of time. So it could be 2 in the afternoon. It could be 2 in the morning. I have no idea. But also less than an hour ago, I walked down the street to get my usual cup full of sin. Gaming news. There's too much going on. Just like with politics, there's too much going on in the world of gaming entertainment, video game platforming as a marketplace. It's just from Ben Stiller's wickedly adorable surprise commercial for, what is it, God of War, I think? And please don't sue me if I get something wrong or if I reference the wrong thing in reference to something that I'm trying to remember. This is all off the top of my head improvised, real life, real, radically raw, and unscripted content. No one hands me pages to read at you, friends, and that's the value that you get when you watch my content. Especially the podcast. Like the podcast, it's a little rough around the edges, but honestly, friends, like it's my critical thinking laid out in terms of like, civilized public discourse. And I'm not peddling any malarkey that I'm aware of. Some people would dismiss some of my core theories as malarkey, but I don't think I'm not a theorist. I'm like basing my world view, as it were, around which I build my social commentary on something very, very profoundly organic and natural and phenomenologically verifiable. But I digress. There's too much going on in the world. There's too much going on in politics. There's too much going on in current events, whatever those are. There's too much going on in video games. What's going on? I haven't played Apex Legends very much at all, hardly at all. And I'm feeling guilty that I didn't think to put Apex Legends on the title for this particular variety mashup episode that we're about to dive into. Of which this is the pre-game chat lounge session. DjZed, would consider. When I look over here and talk to myself as if I were pretending to be talking to a character called DjZed, it is because in my mind, in the animated cartoon, comic book version of this, there is a living animatronic assemblaton being, and that's what I call them, assemblatons. they're this like organic, like sentient, non-carbon based life form. Well, I mean, I guess they're technically carbon based, but they're essentially, their evolutionary path is instead of building up fleshy pod things with various degrees of bone density to protect itself, it was like all like thinky crystalline metal bits that developed into sort of like essentially nanobots before they became more complex, multi-nanobot organized beings that then evolved into specific family trees from certain like seminal nanobot collections. If you're wondering what I'm rambling about, I'm sharing you right off the top of my head like the visionary world building that comes to me not when I'm ready sitting on my insert here, the following is fiction because I can't afford to own one, classic vintage mint condition, well-oiled, highly functional late model Underwood typewriters, of which I would theoretically have 3 all set up in order to capture because ideas come to me in like incongruent trifectas, which start off as pairs but always go like, oh, and there's this third thing, and I'm like, ah. But if I lived in a steampunk, cybernetic, retroistic future version of myself, of my life, that is the world of the Zeppoverse, in which Trumptopia is not just a satirical but loving and respectful. I don't mean any hate when I say Trumptopians or Trumptopia. They've clearly, both for the world building and for the political satire of the real life, to give you a taste of my podcast, there's a segment of the population that has clearly built an ideological, personal identity bond, which some have chosen to describe as being, toxic to the level of being a cult of personality. Others would say that, the jury's still out. You might wonder where I land. I'm somewhere in the middle, 60-40. Like some days it's like, whoa, you guys are really getting into like deep, obviously cult of personality level places. And other days I'm like, nah, I can see how it's not quite there yet. Not in terms of like where it could be. But in my fantasy fiction, retro future, retro neo-noir, cyberpunk, anachronistic future, in which everything sort of rewinds, remashes, and revisits itself in history and re-expresses itself along the same lines but slightly differently. Trumptopia is like officially the name of the independent party that is attempting to establish itself as like the legacy controlling ideological, theological, and political establishment that is, if not directly in control, indirectly in control of everything, right? As opposed to whatever the nation states may have been called previously. And in that world, there would be, because my character, Mr. Zeppo, the reason it's called the Incorrigible Mr. Zeppo's Almost Daily Variety Gaming Live Stream Show Extravaganza, is because in a perfect world, there would be an 11-piece band tucked away over here in a corner that would be playing live music along with DjZed and his family of cybernetic, artificial, nanotechnology, evolutional, living crystalline beings, living metal crystal beings, whatever. I haven't quite nailed the exact like biomechanical description of it all, but they're living clockwork beings that like they're like analog too. That's the other part. They're not digital robots with like computers. They're like living sentient clockwork beings with like analog things that are analogous to vacuum tubes but are more highly evolved and are the receptacle places both at a micro and a macro structural scale place level of consciousness, the way our spongy tissue and crystalline structures in our pineal gland are the receptacles and transmitters that manage the co-creative back and forth process of what is essentially could be described, computational processing of the sensory data of the world that is both created and reabsorbed by these semi-autonomous, semi-aware, ambulatory talking meat sack video cameras that we are, and that they are too. But they would be like playing, digital, like electronic and analog, native noise-making machines from their dimension. And you could, if I had ever started writing them, tisk, tisk, tisk on me, you could be reading along and this is something I guess I've sort of tabled until next year because I need to get like a running start. And so I'm just going to like try to spend more time every week between now and the beginning of next year generating this running start backlog of content so I can start dropping pages on a more regular basis. But you can read the serialized, and I don't know how often I'll try to ambitiously deploy pages, like every other week, once a week. Certainly not every day. That's impossible. I'll just stare at a blank page all day and write like 3 sentences and be like, that's it. I don't know what to do. But the sort of, the many adventures of DjZed, the imaginary robot, that if I could, I would have like some sort of VR animated pre-programmable character right here that'd be like, hello, I am DjZed. I am a animatronic entertainment robot digital disc jockey from a different dimension. And he would talk like a robot, but like a clockwork ogre too. Like they're like, how can I describe them? They're like golems, not golems. That's J.R.R. Tolkien sounding. I mean golems, like the clay beings of different various mythological sourcings. They're like somehow magically alive through life, not through a magic spell, not through the imbuement of some sort of dark magic, but through, in an alternate universe, the biological procedures that rendered in this universe, in your universe, whatever your building blocks are, the genome based on basic carbon. There's also in the parallel dimension from which Mr. Zeppo is from is a parallel dimension in which the living flesh pods all evolved from a genome based on a molecule very similar to carbon, but slightly different so as to imbue everyone with like boring ass superpowers to where like everyone's like basically some sort of an Adonis with mild superpower tendencies, but everyone takes it for granted and sort of doesn't think of it as a thing, and no one's a superhero, and everyone's totally just like a plain old regular person with propensities toward good and propensities toward toxicness. And they imbue artificial life with self-awareness and arguably sentient, like life consciousness through an accidental. They have this whole thing where like they argue whether it was an invention or whether it was a discovery, and it's like the thing that divides their society and brings them nearly to civil disaster, because it's the one thing they can't agree on. And they're a highly evolved, right? These are all like basically people sort of like Teen Titans. If everyone was sort of mildly Teen Titanish, but tone it all down so that it's kind of boring and banal. And it's so much so that like nobody's special and everyone's sort of just like blah, just like a regular person. And there's plenty of like, oh, look at what those people are doing. Those are really unwise choices going on. And an Einstein-like pair of people who are like the fundamental ideologues of science that were partners, but were at loggerheads about like, to sort of homage the rivalry between Ford and what's his name? The guy that the robots in the first season of Westworld are always talking to, that Ford is like always covering up but also revealing the story of. The guy that the robot guy ends up supposedly sort of being a robot version of, that then he like reinvents himself. That guy. To sort of homage that relationship, there's like there's like a, what's the best sort of historical, what's his name? The light bulb guy versus the Tesla guy. That's terrible. Tesla versus, as a sort of model, the Tesla guy. Edison? Yes. Too bad they didn't call the light bulb the Edison, and then I would never have to worry about their names. To mish all that into sort of, and why am I rambling about this? Because these ideas come at me right at the beginning of a stream, or when I'm about to eat my salad, or when I go to get the mail, instead of when I sit down at my 3 lovingly restored, mint condition, totally fictional, because I don't own them, I wish I did, Remington, Underwood, and insert name of Zeppoverse fictional typewriter here. If I suddenly were rich, if I won the California lottery, and we will play some video games soon, I swear. I'm going to run out of energy, and all these all these ideas that are dumbly coming at me now instead of when I could be typing them, I need to capture at some point and review and revisit. And I need like an executive assistant friend class of people following the show that I can trust, that would occasionally watch this and be like, oh, he had this great idea and he forgot to say clip this. I'm going to clip this 2-minute segment and post it back to his Twitter page so that he notices, because he had this crazy idea that fell out of his mouth and he probably forgot and he doesn't know where it is, and he needs help finding it so that he can write it all down. Welcome to my show. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. What the hell was I just talking about? Oh, so the many adventures of DjZed and MrZeppo are sort of like the Odd Couple meets Westworld meets, Around the World in 80 Days meets Ford Prefect is Stuck on Earth meets a little bit of everything, right? Aladdin and the Lamp meets, and so to put an end to that rambling about their origins, they both come from places where, by human standards, whether you live on planet Dirt, whether you live on planet Rock, whether you live on planet Gaia, whether you live on planet Living Womb, whether you live on planet, oh, God bless it, whether you come from planet Earth, where they think all of those where they think the planets are objects, not living sentient mothers. Bless their hearts over there on Earth. If you live on living planet that's alive, I love that planet. They're the ones who get it. That's not literally what they call it, but it's a one-word thing that's sort of like planet Earth. But it doesn't even have the word planet because they don't objectify their mother Gaia, and they recognize it forever, and their whole history has always been like, this thing's alive and it's giving birth to us forever, so it's giving birth to our aliveness. We shouldn't chop it up and commodify it for imaginary money and then choke on the smoke we burn from her bones. But never mind. I don't want to be an alarmist. Uh, so much world building falling out of my head, and I'm supposed to be playing video games. I should be typing all that down. One of the shows that I want to do, which maybe I'll course correct this episode into, is Welcome to Writing the Zeppoverse with the author of Writing the Zeppoverse, creator of the Zeppoverse. Is it too self-referencey? Well, it's a fractal, so it has to be. Where I just sit around and talk, and then I also then start trying to like force myself to write a little bit and try to get it out there and start dropping those pages that I keep advertising that I keep not delivering on because I suck. So Mr. Zeppo is an organic, by human standards. Mr. Zeppo looks and bleeds and slices and looks under, microscopically under the microscope, pretty much like a human being, except if only the sharpest of minds would catch that it's a little irregularly not like a human being. But otherwise, your average Joe Schmo who's just like, you say, "What now, good sir, that you're not from around these parts and you're not a real person? Well, let me look at you under a mic. Nope, you look like a person to me," and would think he's crazy. But only the finest of minds and or equipment would detect that indeed his version of everything is a little bit weirdly not, and I don't know how. I'd have to make up some science there. You'd have to be at the Planck length, where you'd be like, oh, once we understand the structures between whatever happens at Planck length and however we get to electrons and neutrons and protons and stuff, therein is where the patterns are all wonky and weird and different. It's because it's from a different universe, and the fundamental building blocks that were in the right temperature zone were just slightly differently arranged. But in his world, he's this freak being that's like a second-class citizen because he's not a real person. He's a walking, talking automaton that is very, 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 very uncanny valley close to appearing and functioning like a real person. But he doesn't have any of the casually mundane and absurdly weird superpowers that his creator class of species people do. But because he's been ejected from that place and put in another place, in another dimension, in another timeline, in another universe, and on so many levels, he's like elsewhere, which I won't get into because it's like there's a few but like mind-blowing world-building things there about like it's not just like sliders like, oh, I moved over 3 dimensions. It's like a whole meta fractal subset of other. But I digress. He does have abilities and capacities and let us say transcendental inner quote unquote spiritual holographic fractal mind-bendingly weird superpowers that are latent and subtle and mildly useless except for when he realizes the way in which he's most capable of utilizing them. But I don't want to give all that away. I rambled enough. We're supposed to be playing video games, and now I need to take a break. Okay, that's the end of, well, here, since we were talking about the characters, let's play a little bit of the DjZed literary fictional music and take a real quick grab and dash break. What does that even mean? That means I'm going to dash out of this room and take care of a couple things and come back and try not to take too much terrible amount of time. But I need to try to remember to come back and like clip that for myself and save that video and write all of that down and like try to remember all the extraneous thoughts that were attached to all that thinking. But like 2 odd coupley Ford Prefect type characters that are stuck on a planet that doesn't know what to do with them and how to deal with their oddity. They're eking out, they're trying to eke out pseudo celebrity through being their own fictional characters, right? In other words, they're hiding in plain sight by pretending to be the cosplay creation of their own fictional setting that they then market and sell to the world as if it were complete flights of fantasy. So imagine living in a world where you would pick up a comic book or buy a video game or watch a movie, and it's about these two characters, and how, there's an interconnected set of products, and it's all about, isn't it wild and wacky that these two, to use a reductionist term that's not a perfect fit, but there's a lack of a better term until we invent one, robots, these two robots of different kinds, one that sort of looks like a person, but also clearly can polymorph, I guess, to give away one of their powers. DjZed has the ability to like the what, insert name of robot here from insert name of robot movie here, that kind of goes, chrome domey silver and can change shape and sort of become any kind of person. He appears to have that kind of power, but it's actually something completely different than that. But it sort of, in real world, sort of presents as that. But from behind the curtains, it technically functions in a completely different way than the way that would have actually been, described as working. Because, one would be nanotech and the other is smoke and mirrors. I forget where I was going. Oh, so they, in order to hide, they pretend to be fictional characters of their own invention, and they pretend to be committed, let's say, inspired by Daft Punk, who for many years performed exclusively in costume, ostensibly always portraying themselves as their nom de plume, their fictional character names of literary pen namemanship, if I can make up a term. DjZed and MrZeppo are living that sort of celebrity lifestyle, right? And people always want to see behind the mask. People want to know, imagine if R2-D2 and C-3PO were massive party hosts / game show hosts / publishers of an impossible too many amount of media that obviously they can only create because they are actually artificial intelligence, simulcrum entities that are not limited by human faculties and the normal set of boundaries of the capacities of the quote unquote organic frame. In this world, they managed to live this way and ostensibly have a private, completely shielded from the world, and everyone takes it for granted that they do and that they must and that they have to be regular, ordinary people, using lots of money and lots of costumery and lots of technology to constantly performatively portray these characters whenever they go. And the thing is, they're like at the supermarket. Okay, and I want it to be sort of in that sort of low budget sitcom, mid-budget sitcom, that's sort of supposed to be, like The Office or Reno 911, supposed to be like faux behind the scenes documentary style footage. I want not all of it, but I want a certain portion of the stories to be and cut to a long protracted scene at Winco, insert fictional name of a grocery store here because I don't want to get sued by Winco. The way that one video game guy is being sued by IKEA. See, full circle, too many things in the news about just about video gaming alone. How many players got banned from the beta and the pre-launch period for Call of Duty? Too much stuff to talk about just in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And my brain is filled with of Zeppoverse world building ideas instead of, remembering headlines. What a mess. Thanks for joining me. This is the pregame chat lounge session. Do I have music? I do not have music. I thought we were going to put on a little music. We're going to put on a little music now because I'm going to take a break. We will be right back, friends. And I'm going to ramble way less at you, and we're going to jump into some Rogue Company as advertised. And then we're going to spin the roulette wheel and play some of the games. Somebody clip all of that with the title, For Review and Updrafting, Rough Draft Ideas for Zeppoverse World Building. Ding. That second ding's better. Okay, thank you very much. Forgive the awkwardness. I don't plan these shows. They just happen. Now I need tea because I've talked myself hoarse. And that's what we're going to go do. We're going to go put the kettle on. I know sometimes it's a long ass break. But we'll be back. We'll dive in. There's probably not anybody watching. There's one person watching. Hello, one person. Thank you. High five. That was a high five, not a smack to the side of the head. So many thoughts. So many thoughts colliding with so many other thoughts. These two characters, can you imagine? Imagine a robot, and I'm reminded, and I guess somewhat inspired by the very much, and I say this with love and all in full respect, very much homemade looking robot puppets from Mystery Science Theater 3000 fame. You know those two, they look like they're they are made from spare parts of a gumball machine that's been decommissioned, and a hydraulic pump and a few other widgets and a couple of remote control computer chips from a really advanced remote control, but something a little bit more nuanced and sophisticated than that for the digital robot rock DJ band, which is, by the way, entitled with the 12-piece that includes human, cyber, and animatronic members. It's DjZed and the Purple Mush, or Purple Mush and the Political Outrage, or something like that. DjZed, Purple Mush, and the Political Outrage. And I forget whether the all-digital, maybe we should make them all human over here on the actual 12-piece orchestra. Like a full, you know what I mean? Like a roaring 20s time style. They can play, and I want talented mofos that can be oh, you want some 20s ballroom, you want ragtime, you want some 70s Brit rock converted into 12-piece orchestra with the electric guitar. All of a sudden 3 people swipe out and they're playing legit 70s rock instruments kind of band that can also boom drop into some classical hardcore with Vivaldi, boom, Bach, and then come full circle and everybody's playing everything together and it sounds like some hybrid of every bit of music all mushed together by some sort of grandchild of Daft Punk kind of a thing going on. The whole vision of that is that's my Saturday Night Live set, or my David Letterman, Johnny Carson and David Letterman. If Johnny Carson and David Letterman were DjZed and MrZeppo, right? As hosts. Anyways, I'm babbling. We'll be right back. I need to take a break and reset, and then we're actually going to jump into the gaming. Thanks for putting up with my pregame chat lounge session. Hopefully I'll remember that this one has a bunch of stuff for Wattpad Wednesdays, updrafting writer write with me episodes and clip it for myself. I'll be back in a bit, bees. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong one. Where is that one? Okay, friends, we're back. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for, let me bookmark all that. Thank you so much for sticking by me while I do my crazy version of the show. So that was the pregame chat lounge session. We're going to bookmark this as the end. I have a pre-written thing. Why am I typing this all over again when I can just copy paste like a smart person? Where is it though? End of pregame chat lounge session ends here. Boom. I didn't bookmark the beginning of it, but I didn't really plan on doing one. And then suddenly I did one. Alright, boom. We did a pregame chat lounge session. We talked about crazy world-building fictional stuff about DjZed and whatnot. I have an admission to make, friends. Yesterday, after the end of the stream that I was on with you guys, I ate dinner, I watched the news, I got sleepy, I put on a meditation track, I passed out, I took a nice long post-meditation nap, I woke up and I didn't know what time it was, and I was just like really hankering for some Warzone. Not Warzone, but I mean, I guess Warzone. Some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. We're gonna play Rogue Company. That's the one on the title. That's the one that we're bookmarked. But I just wanted to show off a little bit. We're gonna, hopefully there isn't a big update or anything right now. I know there was an update yesterday. Should have done this during the break. We're gonna go take a look real quick. Just gonna check out the rankings. I forget what rank I left it at. Okay. I'll leave the DjZed music playing and we'll turn down the Xbox a little bit. There might be an update. It's updating things. Okay. Loadouts and multiplayer, yay! Plus perk package. I finally learned how to edit perk packages so you can create custom ones. I found one that I really like. Holy moly, we're at 37. What? Check it out, you guys. Kapow! I just unlocked that. I just got Riot Shield. I didn't even realize that. Sweet! Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out where I get that. That's a melee weapon. This is the custom perk package that I invented, and I've got loaded out. I only kind of came up with it because there's, I don't know if this is the daily challenge still up. Is it still up? Let's play. I'll have to go into a lobby. Yeah, see in the top of daily challenges, it says get 3 operator kills using cold-blooded perk. So I was like, wait, hold on, where is that? Blah, 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 blah. And then we, you know, I was like, oh wait, look, I can do. I had already unlocked custom perk packages, and I didn't want to mess with any of the template ones. I like them, and I want to use them occasionally. But let me find Riot Shield just for funsies and put it on something. Where would I drop Riot Shield? I guess on this guy, just to get fun with it. Melee. Riot Shield! I'm trying to grind the Lockman because that unlocks one of the let's look at this. Wait, let's look at this. This Lockman sub down here is considered one of the best machines in the game. And I'm curious about this one over here. The Lockman Rat Reach. But this is not my style of shooting, so it's a whole different thing. I have not been able to get a lot of grinding on that. But now we got Riot Shield, hooray! I'm very tempted to jump into a game here, but I don't wanna. I've been tweaking, obviously, as you can see, I've been tweaking things. I now have a loadout that has the features. It's now my favorite, so that it shows up on the operator. It features the two main cinder weapons, which can be, which can blow up into, you know, 5 different weapons. We're grinding on them 4. And Icarus. So good times. And 37. Riot Shield. Oh, we should put that one on as my... We should put that one on as favorite right now. Let's swap this for something. There we go. Oh, let's set that as favorite for funsies, just for funsies. I want to see what it looks like over here when I'm like in a lobby. Yeah, check that out. We're gonna have to play that. Okay, but not right now, because I just want to check that out. That was just a tease. We'll come back and do a whole episode later today, probably. If not today, later tonight. Oh, and then for fun reporting journalism action, if you're a member of Whatchamahoozle, there's your current perks. This perk, the fact that there's, as you can see, there's a PC bundle there. There was the Xbox bundle, the 25th anniversary Fallout. Someone had recently recommended Fallout 4, so I had gotten that, and then I was like, oh, this is for that other one. It's supposed to be also good. It's part of the series. That's one of the critically acclaimed titles in the series. It's sort of neither the earliest nor the most recent. And and I went ahead and got it because I was like, oh, there's a big bundle. I'm gonna get this. Yay. So now we got to start playing those at some point. We got to get back to Warframe. So many games, never enough time. And then, of course, if you are the kind of person who likes to keep updated on Game Pass, these games are leaving soon. I don't think I've even noticed these before. Well, Subnautica I'd wanted to play. It's on sale until it goes off of Game Pass, then it goes back up, I believe, is the way that works. So they get you hooked, having it on Game Pass for free, and then they're like, hey, buy it on discount, and then, you know, you want it. Okay, but right now, because we advertised Rogue Company, we're going to play some Rogue Company. I love this game's baseline audio track, by the way. If you haven't ever heard this, listen to this groove. It's great. Rock out to it for a hot second. I totally ruined that because I forgot to mute the DjZed first. The opening is so special. Hold on, and we're going to reboot that. We're totally rebooting that. Take 2. Ignore that horrible musical transition. As a former live entertainment stage venue technician that has managed both lights and sound, and sometimes both lights and sound at once in a show, I've done transitions so much more perfect than that. So much better than that. Was horrible. So pretend that, okay, we had DjZed playing. I can't even do a good crossfade here. But DjZed was playing and he was unmuted. And we're gonna fade it out. Blah, blah, blah. And so, friends, thank you so much for putting up with my thing. And this is coarse by theatrical standards because OBS has its limitations. Boom. Now, we're gonna fire up. Did we already tell it to quit? We gotta tell it to quit first. So even this is chunky. If this were a play, this would be rehearsed out into so much smoother than this. It'd be so much better. Although this is not a play. This is us playing Xbox together. Check out this music, though. It's awesome. Dope, right? Okay, friends. So, real quick, I have not played this game very much, clearly. Okay, DjZed is not playing a track, so we can put him back up here. I have not played this game very much. I don't remember how it works. I don't remember what it looks like. I don't remember whether or not I'm good at it. There's apparently a couple of new operators, or currently locked operators, that are available for free play. We might jump into them once we get the hang of our basic operator. You'll note the 18,100 blue widget points that I've got, enough to unlock that one operator that we were just looking at, the sports ball looking lady. I haven't played very much, but I have been logging into the game every day, and there's like a login calendar, like a Christmas calendar, that pops up every day. Plus, I've been clicking through the video ads, and that gives you 75 points every video. So in a relatively short time, I've cropped that up in order to permanently unlock one of that particular one. I don't know if the other dude that's on free play right now is more expensive. I don't think I can do that right now, but since it's available for free, we'll play it and see what it feels like to play, and we'll see if we want to unlock it before we switch over to one of the other games, which we will be doing. All right, I'm gonna put on my headsets so I can start off the game with a little bit of that, and then maybe I'll switch over to Alleviate before it gets to headache land. Okay. Let's check out game modes. Strikeout, demolition, quick play, 6 team match. Okay, let's play deathmatch. And I guess we'll do quick play next just to kind of rotate it around. And we're going to see what this is like. I haven't played this game in forever. I don't remember if there's like special powers. I don't remember if she can actually use that katana. I don't remember if it's more like PUBG or if it's more like Call of Duty or what. Or if it's like X-Fire, which I think I uninstalled, which I think I then reinstalled. Too many games, never enough time, friends. But let's play a little bit of Rogue Company, which we have not played in a while. Next match, we'll switch over to that other character to take them for a test drive. What's behind me on this camera here? I think it's just advertising, right? Oh, yeah. Cool. Oh! Apparently we did get into a game. Okay, finally. We did not get into that first match. Also, there's a new event thing going on that they're doing a narrative story. I don't know how boring it is. It might be fun to read. It might not be fun to read. I don't know if there's like video and audio. I don't know if it's like Apex Legends or if it's more produced than that. But we might go check that out. Apex Legends is another one we need to log into. And PUBG. Had these games this entire time. Haven't played them. All right, friends. Let's see what this is like. Let's go cam free for a hot minute. Just because it's the main character that I started playing. And I think she's dope, but I don't remember. Maybe I don't like her. Here we go. Oh, don't tell me Mother Nature wants to make a phone call right now. I don't remember if this game, what this game is like. But here we go. High Castle Extraction. Nice. I do like these loading screens. This would be fun. Hey, although I guess it does do that. The lobby has that moment where they all kind of hang out. Oh, right. Right, right. I like this game. That's right. Okay, here we go. Bummer. Okay, well, we lost.
Dang it. I was close, though. I almost saved that character. Dude, help me! Help me! Help me! Wow. Rough. I don't even know what my special powers are. Left, right button. Cool. That team got it together that time. Good job. This game's fun. It's like... Nice. Good job. I know, I'm trying. It won't let me spawn anymore. Hmm. Brutal. Ooh, that's right. I'm back in. No. Lost. Yep, it's true. Sorry. I suck. I don't know if that was a real person or if that was the game. Okay. We're gonna try. $20,000. We cannot unlock this one. guess we'll just play quick play. Voice chat. We're gonna go ahead and just turn it off. Boom. All right. No more voice chats. Let's try to find a match. And we'll remember to switch over to that other character and give it a try. Do I have contracts? Good times. Of course I suddenly... the urge to bag a ball. Okay. Let's get into it. Okay, we're just gonna go. We didn't upgrade our weapons because we were walking away from stuff. Oof. Brutal, but awesome. Did some damage. Damn. Dang it. So close. Brutal. Here we go, here we go, here we go. So sad. Dude! Should have revived me instead of dived in like that. Boom. That's what that game's like. Good times. I kind of dig it. right, friends. I'm going to go ahead and permanently unlock this character because it's a fun alternative to the other one. With reputation, I earned it. Now we've got this character permanently unlocked. And she's a badass. And I like the shield. Get used to playing it better. Now we just gotta save up. I really wanted this one too. Because it's a sniper snipe scopey one. But we'll save up for this one next. Should only take us like a month or two. And in fact, if we get in here and start playing more, we'll grind up to it much faster. Which is probably what we're going to want to do. Because I do want to unlock that snipey, scopey player. But this is lots of fun. And we will be back to grind away some more, friends. I think it's time for me to take a breakfast break, so I'm going to go have brunch. And I'll be back a little bit later with more Rogue Company plus other games. I would just leave the stream running, but we're going to part 1, part 2 it. Even though that was very limited amount of... But the next one won't have a big, long, rambly pre-game chat session. I don't know what just flashed on the screen. Something weird just flashed on the screen, man. That was weird. I forgot that I wanted to get this one too. And I was in range of getting it. We'll just have to, oh look, they do have a mastery grind. Cool. I'm gonna have to grind and save a way to unlock this character next. Maybe we'll get it in a free play sometime. We've played him before. We have him unlocked, yay. We've not played him before. We'll have to play him before, and I guess he's permanently unlocked. But this game's up there, man. It's fun. It's light. It's easy. The controls make sense. It's challenging. It goes back and forth. Obviously, people are snarky in the lobby, etc., etc. We'll be back with more, plus some variety of some of the other games after I take a brunch break because I'm getting that vibe. I might also do some chores too, so it might be a medium to longish break. As always, friends, thank you for your viewership. It's been a pleasure. It's been a joy. Thank you for being here. Is my mic muted? No, thank goodness. Let me take this off. I know. I should. You know what? I would be playing more matches, and that was a woefully low amount of match per minute spent streaming. But it was more of like hey, we want to revisit this and make sure that we actually want to play it. And obviously, I just committed by unlocking a character with hard-earned login honor coins, and I'm gonna keep doing it too. We're going to grind away and play this game a bit more as one of the many that we cycle through on the Battle Royale Roulette Xbox Edition Variety Gaming. For funsies, let's take a quick look. We're looking at this game. We just barely, I'm only at level 20 because I've been making a conscious effort to log into this game every day, and I get a decent amount of grind points for that. But as you can see, I did all right playing. I didn't do horrible. We were also apparently playing against 4 people, which sucks. And somebody got disconnected. But in terms of other games that we can, could, should, would be visiting often, like we teased with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 earlier and was looking at some of that progression there, we will be playing Overwatch a little bit more often, and other games in this category. If you look at it this way, if we go over here to storage devices and we look at the internal hard drive, it's full up to the brim with just a little bit of room there. We got Apex Legends, we haven't played in forever. Century, Age of Dragons, we really like. There's a couple of games loaded up on here because I want to do a first impression review because they're relatively new and I installed them pretty much first day and I have yet to play them because I haven't made time to launch them, and I want to do it live on stream and share the experience going like, ooh, new game, what is this like? But Chivalry 2 just landed recently. Same thing. We've had a Plague Tale Innocence since forever ago. Never played it. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. We've got the trial version now because the full game is on sale. As they celebrate the recent deployment of the sequel, A Plague Tale Requiem, which I installed and then I uninstalled and then I reinstalled because I caught a video and I realized that it is considered one of the most cutting edge in the visual stunning department video games of recent memory. It's supposed to have amazing world visuals and just like the overall graphics quality is supposed to be mind-bogglingly cool. I realized it's going to be nothing but endless onslaught of fighting off wave after wave of like zombie rodents or rodents that turn people into zombies or something like that. And it could be super gross. And sort of like with Grounded, which I love / can't handle playing because it gives me the anxiety creeps because the sound design is way too good. And it's every little creepy sound in the entire experience is like tickling the gag nerve because it's all a gross, creepy, crunchy, soggy, squishy bug sound of some kind or another. But there it is. It's over there somewhere. So we've got those we got to try and do a first impression look on. And then games that we play that we just haven't played in forever. Fortnite, Deathloop, Cyberpunk, Beyond Extinction, which is getting on real close to actual hitting its own world premiere proper launch day and process, which will see the launch day and beyond deployment of various features, including, I believe, a battle pass of some kind. But it's super awesome. It's the craziest of the battle royale roulette XS edition games because it's people versus dinosaurs, and I don't know if people ever get to be dinosaurs, but I think it's a thing that's going to be a thing, but I'm not sure. Then there's Vigor Deliverance, which looks really awesome. It's one of the prettiest worlds that's realistic, that's like almost photorealistically beautiful. It's like, whoa. And you're running around scavenging, mostly skulking, trying to escape. It's a scavenger sort of like that one on the iPad that I like but don't play very much. And Warframe, which is also sort of like mind-bogglingly beautiful but space sci-fi, and we haven't played. And World of Warship Legends, which we purposefully played just recently as a beginning of the revisiting games we haven't played in a while. And that's just on the internal drive. I don't even talk about the stuff on the external drive that we keep looking at and don't hardly ever get to play. But we're going to eventually do a special week sometime, maybe after Thanksgiving, I guess, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're going to do an Assassin's Creed special feature week where we're going to spend the 60, 40 to 90% focus time during the week just cycling through the Assassin's Creed title that we've got. And we're going to move them all to the internal drive. We're going to juggle everything and move everything off, take a break from a bunch of stuff. Minus probably Modern Warfare 2. It'll probably be Assassin's Creed with a little bit of Modern Warfare 2 mixed in. Somewhere else in there, also, we have to do a Conan week and decide if we're going to try to keep that as a sort of monthly game that we play. And at some point, we finally have to freaking play Elden Ring, because I've had that since launch week also and never played it. We're very close to launch week, launch month. I bought it very early on when I very first, because it was out right when we first got the Xbox. And I've yet to play it beyond rolling several characters of various casts and checking out what the first 10 minutes is like and then going, nope, stop, no more, and bailing it. I don't know what that, I'd have to start all over again probably with each character. And we can go on and on and on. Plenty of games. Anthem we've never fired up. APB Reloaded we've never fired up. Here's another Assassin's Creed game that we would probably move over to the internal drive just for shits and giggles. Unless it's one of those ones that like doesn't like it and won't fire up on the internal drive. That'll be a fun Bob's your uncle moment. We got Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. We need to premiere, which we'll do sooner rather than later, sometime between now and Christmas, maybe even before Thanksgiving. But I've also got like family things happening. We had the Shadow of Mordor double feature over here that we haven't really played much. So many games we've never even fired up. Quantum Break, which is a sizable, it's up there in the bigger percentage of games. Tiny Tina's Wonderland, this new Terra game, which is supposed to be a pretty cool MMO. I don't know if it is or it isn't. Warface, I'm giving a second chance to because I just got a big update. And I don't know if I was being too harsh on it or if it's going to be playable. It seemed a little bit like really outdated. The mechanics, the internal game mechanics, felt really, really like on rails to me and like horrible and bad. And like too hard / easy. You know what I mean? Like it's trying too hard to be hard, but it was really easy. And then of course our brand, not off-brand, but our alternate to Modern Warfare 2 adjacent games. All the games that are not like Modern Warfare, like Tropico, and who knows what else. We got in-betweeners and games that are just, whatever they are, like Wingman, which is apparently probably I no longer have access to because I think it's either about to drop off Game Pass or is no longer on Game Pass. It doesn't have Game Pass branded on its little bottom right corner like Rage 2 and Quantum Break over here do. So I kind of think I can't launch it. Let's find out. For shits and giggles, it's part of the post-log goofiness session. Let's see if it'll let me play or if it'll ask for a disc. If it asks for discs, I need to uninstall it. Oh, do I own this game? Nope. Cancel. I need to uninstall that, bro. Manage. It was on Game Pass recently. And I never played it. Actually, wait. Just cancel out of this. Isn't there like straight up, boom, uninstall? Oh no, I have to be looking at it. Well, that'll make some room on the hard drive. Uninstall content. There's probably one or two other games like that I had at some point installed because they're on Game Pass that might not be on Game Pass anymore. Then I just haven't gotten the memo. And I guess every once in a while we just gotta try and fire them up and check them out that way. Where are you, Wingman? There you are. 5 gigs. Opening up. Remove selected. Uninstall. It happens. Bye-bye. But yeah, join me for more as I sort of mix up the variety take on the stream. We will be doing less Xbox gaming and more art creating and writing and visiting the other dimensions of the Zeppoverse in various ways. But also sticking to it, grinding through. One of the things I wanted to talk about, which we'll do more in depth in another episode soon when we actually play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, but I actually want to fire it up because I'm like hooked on this game, right? And they've launch and the pre-launch stuff. Now we're in this pre-season for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and they've set a goalpost. They've thrown the gauntlets down and challenged everyone to grind and laid out a massive array of things. From if you want to, no matter how you slice it, whether you just want to focus on camos or you're particularly interested in unlocking every possible weapon, family, platform tree, or you are specifically into unlocking operators, or you're a completionist and you're trying to do all of them, or you're a generalist and you're just trying to grind along and make a little progress, get a little bit here and there, like me, or you're really fixated on getting to military rank 50, whatever the end of that is. Let's go check out the operators. Speaking of which, I didn't set out to be super successful in unlocking operators, but I found that particularly on the Spec Guru, I keep wanting to say Spec Guru instead of Spec Guru, but on the left-hand side of this double panel selection, I mean, obviously all the Ghost ones came because of the pre-order, but the other ones that have unlocked weren't as terribly impossible to grind as I feared some of them would be, because I just sort of have been hitting them as I go along the way, which is dope. Do they have what unlocked them? No, they have an actual bio, which we've never read before. Okay. On this side, though, a little bit more challenging, although a couple of them have been cool. I haven't done any of the complete cooperative mission versions, which there should only be 3 or 4 of, because I haven't done any of the cooperative missions yet. In terms of some of the other basic ones that you should be getting or unlocking, for some people, get 5 hipfire kills in a single multiplayer match probably was the first one they unlocked, because that's super easy, and for me that's kind of really hard. Get 20 kills, it's sort of out, beyond my average range. 5 headshots in a single multiplayer match, not gonna happen anytime soon. I don't even know how to execute a finishing move. Oh, I'm totally blocking everything. Let's go to weave frame without chat. Come here, chat browser. Disappear for a hot minute. No one's chatting anyways. But as you can see, when we're clicking through each of these, the ones that are still locked, how do I close bio? No. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Go back inside. Operators. There we go. We don't need the bios opened up. Oh, I wish the ones that are unlocked, you get your basics that are unlocked by default, right? And they delightfully come with multiple skins if you customize, not load. You got 4 different skins to pick from, which isn't obvious until you click all the way through. There's slight variance. They're kind of the same. This side on Cortac, which is slightly easier to pronounce, but isn't quite as charmingly familiar feeling as Spec Guru is. Like if I said Spec Guru by accident really fast and called it Spec Guru, I'd probably get used to it. That one just seems like the Cortac group. But at any rate, my default over here is one that I unlocked that I don't remember what it took to unlock, but I was just pleasantly surprised to look one day and was like, this was not locked earlier. This was not unlocked earlier, and it's now definitely unlocked and loadable. You want my favorite? But these other ones, like I was saying, some of these goals are a little outside of my typical average, and I mean the ones that are not associated to given match. Like I don't play with launchers. I really should throw some launchers on and start trying to get some points to unlock that dude, even though I don't think I'd ever play him, because as other streamers have identified, other streamers have said that he's just sort of clunky looking. Although that's, I don't know, intimidating. I digress. I gotta remember how this one unlocked, but she looks pretty dope if she's rocking the, we've made this default right now. Okay, cool. But she also looks really dope loading out with like 2 scopes. If we make this one. Right, we made that favorite now. Oh, she's not showing it. She's showing on what? I think that they have their favorites. Oh yeah, that's something I wanted to check. I believe they seem to have, if I read somewhere, if I remember correctly, somewhere they have favorite weapons. That I don't know if there's actually like oh, I didn't know how to do this. Now I know. I can actually take like a screen grab of them. And this must be their favorite weapon? I don't know why the camera can pan them up and down like some sort of body scan. I don't know why you would need to zoom in. And the zoom out doesn't do anything. Reset camera position to neutral. Okay. Bio is this. Citizen, Cortac fashion. Okay, there's backstory. And CQ and what? What else? What? It does, like, it cuts off. So that's a bug. I would write that up as a text info window display bug. There seems to be more, but it ends in a dangling participle or whatever that is. Somewhere I thought I saw there was like favorite weapon. And I thought it would be more like up there, status active. Like status active is a completely useless thing. That should be favorite weapon or whichever thing it's got bonuses. Now, unlike Overwatch 2 or other games like, I think, what's another game like that? Well, the one, Rogue Company, the one we were just playing, where each one has like specific talents or traits or things that are just specific to them and different from other operators. From what I understand, every operator is generic AF. And although for example, in Call of Duty old .0, the Call of Duty shared nexus of Warzone and the multiplayer with Vanguard, Cold War, and Black Ops, where every one of those operators has in one of those games, whichever one is native to them, like if it has it as a feature, unlocking little sub branch of its own. I don't think these guys do, which is a bummer. And they might, if you have that filed under the category of, oh my god, is my microphone muted? Thank god no. Of like missing content. I haven't read anything yet, but since, hey DjZed, play us a little bit of music, but tone down the volume because you're super loud, bro. Like down to there. Yeah. Maybe even a little more. Yeah, like that. Okay. That might drop within season 1 or something that comes out with other seasons. Not to come back over here and start teasing playing again, because I'm not gonna. But hey, celebrating having reached level 37 out of, how many are there? Let's go all the way down. And one of my there's 55 ranks, and I deeply lament not having unlocked the 30 complete ranks that you could have undone during the 3-day beta access that I shoulda, coulda, woulda if I just spent like 10 more hours, you know, like 4 or 5 more hours each day than I did. I would have just ground through and probably unlocked it. Use some of those bonus XP things that came with it. I'll never get access to that unless they give us some sort of package someday. That they'll probably charge us an arm and a leg for. But each of these games has slightly different versions of like some of the same things, which is why I like so many of them. And in a way to sort of like avoid burnout, as you can see, I've collected a bunch of them. Here's some that I've never fired up that are way all the way down here. Like Anthem, never fired up. Comes with a campaign mode and a multiplayer mode, never played it. Battlefield 5, fired it up once, had a crazy mind-boggling time when it was too soon, it was too early for me. Like I wasn't ready, and I hadn't like learned enough along the learning curve. Both Black Ops 4 and Cold War and Ghosts and Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered, each of them separate and different, have their own, apparently still active as of the last time I checked, sometime during the last 3 months, active multiplayer community that randomly firing one up, I was able to get into a multiplayer match within a very reasonable wait time. And I presume that there will be days and hours and times where any one of these older games already has dreadfully empty lobbies where you're like, there really is no one there, because that's just numbers, that's just the statistics, the ebb and flow. And unless they're developing or have developed some way of populating it with AI characters that behave similar to what players have played before, which is what I would do if I ever had tons of money and could buy and aggregate a bunch of video games. I'd be like, dude, the way to solve the empty lobbies problem when players aren't playing enough, but you still have a few players and you're still getting some new players opting in, but there isn't a big active day-to-day, week-to-week community anymore, is model known, labeled, identified as AI players, but give them unique personalities, give them unique image in game, and populate them with henchmen, but model their behavior under like you've got all this gamer data, right? In theory, every game, every played, like a chess database of people playing chess, right? And the way chess nerds nerd out about like how classic games play out and how classic openings branch open into their probabilities. You can build a fractally recursive, like aware data set inspired, like specific, anonymized, but a specific, like you aggregate opening moves and middle play moves and end game maneuvers into a database of inspired by the living maneuvers chosen by the actual historical database of all plays ever played by anybody, noobs and the most hardcore. I wasn't trying to express any particular hand gesture there, except to express an all-encompassing history of any given game. Like, let's say we wanted it, like let's say in the future, in a sort of fan fiction future history world building, to continue with that theme from the beginning of this episode, there's a version of the world where the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo, as one of his like alter egos that he pretends to be, because he has multiple like Clark Kents, to borrow the phrase, that no one recognizes him, that he does business in the world as, through a various ways of shenanigans that he pulls that off. But he buys the entire Call of Duty franchise, historical and fictional, futuristic, that sort of lived heyday and a second revival, and then a new golden era in a postmodern, and even got to like modern Call of Duty platform 3.0. But because of market forces developing the way they do in the future history fiction of fan fiction of this world building, however many years out, there's an eventual sort of mini market crash that sort of tumbles certain game franchises to sort of, they just sort of get put away and retired, if not indefinitely, for the foreseeable future. And Mr. Zeppo comes in to buy it, to revive it, to reestablish it and reinvigorate it. What we would do is data mine every game and every move ever played, and create the Call of Duty, war games, living AI character set inspired by all of the possible mineable game data of including now current, tip of the hat, whatever they're doing with their AI now. Imagine it at a like 4.0, and of course in Zeppo case it would be 4.20 or 4.19. Well, it would be the many iterations leading up to that, right? From the 4.0 platform on, where the full history of like every game I've ever played, every game anybody's ever played, anonymized and broken down into opening maneuvers that lead to successful gameplay versus not successful opening maneuvers and not so successful mid game maneuvers that lead to the lack of successful gameplay in terms of achieving gameplay objectives in the full history. And then you can whoa, hey, what's up, Lord of Dragon Knights? Thanks for dropping in and playing the music thingamabob. I'm rambling about a fan fiction world in which we have AI so smart that you can build a whole chess library of historical gameplay maneuver archetypes, and then program battle bots that would keep these keep a universe of lobbies open, for in some sort of dystopian future where video gaming becomes a whole different thing. As I was wrapping up this episode, but this was like iRobot, the movie / the books, kinda, yeah, but in a world where video games are kept alive in hyper immersive AI driven, 3D, like a mishmash of all the science fiction together, to create a whole new horizon of science fiction. But I imagine a world in which this character of mine is so, is as a video game mogul, builds a video game franchise or builds a video game brand so powerful that have you ever seen Ghost in the Shell? Any of those? There's several movies and several series of anime. If you combine that with that, where like they're driving this idea of like a military industrial complex that's trying to achieve a sustainable infinite war so that you could always just keep making money off of warfare because it's all done by robots. But instead of robots, it's video games. It's deep, immersive video game technology in which real world players suffer the consequences of really vivid, simulated war scenarios as gameplay. Sort of like as if Call of Duty became some future next, AI, The Matrix, Ready Player One, sort of, but also some futuristic steampunky version that you can't imagine because it's the Zeppoverse and it's the way I write it. Then I'm not, that you haven't read yet. Immersive environment, and those people. You played the Ghost in the Shell Season 4 for Call of Duty Mobile. Yes! I did too. I love that. Maybe that's where we connected as streamer gamer friends. because the reason I loved that season so much is that I love that movie. If you've never seen the original movie, I think you can rent it on YouTube for like $3 or something. Like, do it. And if it isn't on YouTube, it's on some other streaming platform. But there should be a version where you can rent it for one-time viewership for like under $4 or $5. You've only seen the anime. Which season? There's like the original anime, the very first time they ever made an anime version of the property. Then there's the many properties they've created since then. Let me turn off the chat bots so that I can follow your chat a little bit better. The one Netflix made. Yes, that's pretty good. I just opened the wrong app completely. Close that app out. Yes, that's pretty dope too. I love that. You need to... I mean, I'm a collector / nerd, and this particular universe, this particular character, Motoko, and the team, and this particular brand, Ghost in the Shell, is so strong, is so good, it's so deep, it's so much more than you see. I wish there was an Xbox game, first of all, that was like on brand, licensed to the actual creators, and there isn't yet. But hey, feature request to Xbox and Microsoft, and I don't know who would produce it, who would create it. If it was gorgeous in Call of Duty Mobile, so I would be like, if Call of Duty wanted to team up with some of their teams, because they've got multiple studios, plus some Japanese designer to give it like authenticity that has already because there was a Ghost in the Shell game a long time ago that had to off-brand itself, but once you played it, you're like, oh, if you saw the original movie, you knew like, oh, that's totally all of the characters from Section 9. It's just not being called Ghost in the Shell. It was called something else. That was really, really awesome. And there's been, I think, 1 or 2 attempts. There is a video game for Ghost in the Shell. There is. I need to play it. If it's on Xbox, I need to find it. I haven't found it yet. But yeah. Hats off, salute to Ghost in the Shell crossover event on Call of Duty Mobile. I did a whole special series. If you saw it, you know. If you didn't see it, I think it should still be on YouTube, some big portion of it. At any rate, I was working my way towards taking a station break so I can have brunch. But I was talking about all the games that I haven't played, which led me into fantasizing about a sci-fi world that I'm creating called the Zeppoverse, in which you would sit in a... Did you ever talk about a deep reference? Have you ever seen Mork and Mindy, the TV show, with... Not Conan O'Brien... with, what is his name? DjZed, stop. Your music is distracting me. Everything stop. He's a giant. He's a giant in the field of film and television. He's known to Disney brand people because he played the voice of the genie in the Disney animated movie when it first came out as the new, genie in the lamp. Robin Williams. Mork and Mindy. I know that's a big jump, but there's so many references that I homage. If you've ever seen Mork and Mindy, if you never have, find a way to watch that show and support it. Buy it. If it's on sale, if there's like a sampler DVD that's got like a few that you can find for like $10 at the video bin at your nearby Best Buy or something, or if there's a collection that you see a special like web offer, like get it or rent it on YouTube. I think there's some, it's Robin Williams, so it's gonna make you laugh because he's a weirdo, and this is one of his original like mad genius things that made him a star long before he ever became the Robin Williams you saw in any of the Disney stuff that he did, like Madam the Babysitter, Madam Drag Queen Babysitter. What's that one show? Madam Bonfire. No. Anyways, he's brilliant. But also, if you know that show already, We Should Be Friends, because that's from forever ago. And in it, he's an alien stuck on Earth. There's a theme there, especially if you saw the opening part of this show. If you haven't seen the open part of this episode, friends, and you're just dropping in now to say hi, thank you. Failed trumpet, I know. Womp, womp, womp. If you need to watch the beginning of this show, because I talk about DjZed and MrZeppo and how about they are like Mork from Mork and Mindy, although I didn't mention him at the time. It's a new reference to me now. I just remembered Mork and Mindy, but also like Ford Prefect in Hitchhiker's Guide. They are stuck on a version of Earth in a timeline that's similar to your version of Earth, but also wildly different, and has its own planet name that's wildly different than planet Earth. And they're trying to get by making their own, online video content and having a radio show and playing video games and writing a book series in which they cosplay totally fictional robot characters that they made up, but it's actually really them. And it's their real life story about how they got here to planet, insert name of planet here. I think I want to call it like Delta Alpha 1 or something. But it's a super Trumpy planet, right? And that's where Trumptopia is a real empire. And there's also the nation states formerly known as the USA, which is the NFK USA. And there's a bunch of jokes there because it's the nation. Oh, the NF, the NS, the nation states. So nation states, is nation states one word or nation states two words? Because if it's one word, it's just it can be just NFK USA, known as NFKA. They're not fucking around. But anyways, the nation states formerly known as the United States of America and Trumptopia, because they split apart, right? And it's a full-on militaristic. Trumptopia is a faux religious military indoctrinated, like top-down, non-egalitarian, whatever the opposite of non-egalitarian, warmongering tribal state, taken to, to some extreme degrees, but also sort of like, as I've detailed before in previous episodes of the podcast and of this live stream, curiously inside out and backwards from what you might expect, and not quite exactly directly what you might criticize of today's real life politics. But I digress. What the nation state is two words. Thanks for the answer. All right. Well, now we know we got to adjust all the acronyms in the world building work, none of which I've formally published on the Wattpad platform, but there are some teaser chapters and you can see the groundwork being laid out if you go visit the Wattpad profile for Mr. Zeppo on wattpad.com, which you can find very easily without remembering any of the names of all the things by going to solo.to/Mr. Zeppo. Okay, anyways, the egg-shaped spaceship that Mork from Mork and Mindy traveled in is where I was trying to get to with that long, rambling reference. Mr. Zeppo builds imagine if Sony and Nintendo and Xbox all merged, because in the future of Trumptopia versus the nation states formerly known as the United States of America, and borrowing from Blade Runner et al., all of science fiction, mega conglomerate mega corporations are bigger than nation states and more important than countries themselves. The video gaming industry is something larger than most nation states' GDPs, and it got rickrolled. Yeah, we're rickrolling the world a little bit. We're bringing it back to fan fictioning about video gaming. He somehow, over a 40-year history that gets chronicled in one sort of like neo-nostalgia, cyber warfare, Call of Duty fanfiction series of books that I have yet to write, proposes and convinces the world to replace real war, completely replace it. No more bullets fired, no more tanks, no more invasions, no more usurpations, no more annexations, and then, meaningless tug of war. Everything is played out in this video game system of video game systems, where it's like the AI that, that it's sort of like if you created a secretly spiritually anchored anti-hero that sort of plays off of Elon Musk, but is everything Elon Musk apparently isn't, and is trying to create a way for people to go, aha, we have enlightenment to achieve, not not a dystopia to actually make real and destroy ourselves through. He tricks everyone. He somehow manages to trick the whole world into giving up actual warfare and replacing it with this really immersive, super mega computing platform that looks like a Mork and Mindy egg pod that you get into, which also sort of references Eve, the space sim online, because that has a lot of egg pod people. Everyone is an android that fits inside of a pod that fits inside of a spaceship that drives the spaceship. But instead of in that game, you're actually in this world. It's like he creates this gaming platform where everyone wants their version, sort of like Ready Player One, but totally different, of this egg pod. And there's low budget egg pods, and there's off-brand egg pods, and there's don't buy an egg pod, buy our simulation tank. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Which are secretly all really him. To create a whole economy of like video gaming vis-a-vis like, yes, it's okay to be in a temporary matrix. And it's like, but it's also where you do your work, because it's a desk, right? Where you chill in a 0G, all your needs are attended to. Your brain is immersed in whatever the real hyperverse would be, or the Zeppoverse, as he calls it in his world. Don't anybody sue me for referencing the real life brands and inspirations and video games and movies that inspired this. But imagine a world where everyone has an egg pod, and the ultra rich have super deluxe, hyper advanced egg pods. And I guess to a certain degree, there's a little bit of like, what's that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he goes to Mars, and does he save Mars, or did he just play a video game about saving Mars? And also, of course, you can't not include a little bit of tip of the hat reference to Rick and Morty, to that one episode where they play that one video game that's so immersive that when you wake up, you're like, what the fuck just happened? I thought that was really my life. And oh, oops, I was just playing a video game episode. So it's all like that. But his thing that he's known for in a sort of like, what's that iceberg train episode kind of way, where that guy builds a train and he's sort of worshipped as a demigod, and he lives at the very front of the train because he saved humanity by building the train. It was a great movie. I don't know how I feel about the show. The movie I need to rewatch because it's super brilliant, and it is cutting edge, post-contemporary science fiction that like broke new ground. The show I tried to watch, and it just didn't charm me as much as the movie did. But I digress. The pod saves the world because now everyone, no one has to commute anymore. Everyone gets into the pod and exercises for reals through hyper matrixy like fake. They're already doing it to us. There's a workout game worth a dozen that I could play on, the Google games, that the goggle boxes that I don't play. Goggle boxes. That's a fun fake brand to play with. But his thing is very egg. Boom. Even the cheapest ones, it's like you get into a chair that kind of like does an egg thing around you, and then like with either a cap or an implant, you get the information data like streamed straight into your consciousness cortex. And in that reality, nested inside of all those things I just referenced, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo literally reaches deep into their ancient history and buys this now defunct brand called fictionally defunct brand. I don't mean to predict that Call of Duty will ever go defunct. Maybe it's teetering on going defunct because no one wants to play war games anymore, right? Maybe that's going on. But he buys it all out and then brings it all into the Zeppoverse egg future, into a secret cutting edge. You know, this new egg is going to be so dope, it's going to blow your mind. It's like the XS of, if the Microsoft XS is like the most dopest Microsoft ever, the Microsoft Xbox XS, pardon the misreference of the brand there. If the Xbox XS is the dopest, newest version of the Xbox ever right now, then in the Zeppoverse, there's like newest, series version of the, and it's secret cutting edge. It hasn't even been teased yet to the real world version of the egg pod that like you just can get in there and do everything in super dope Zeppoverse slow-mo time. So you could spend literally just an hour and 45 minutes and achieve a fortnight's worth of everything. Working out, training, learning a new gaming system, mastering it, playing 65 plus hours worth of gaming content, and 150 plus hours worth of multiplayer additional to the campaign mode content of any kind of game you can imagine. In a deeply immersive AI, it feels like you've taken off your skin and become whatever new character it is, and you can play it in fully immersive dual first person, third person, over the shoulder at the same time mode. And he replaces war with it in the way that the nation states that mass produce all the war machines in Ghost in the Shell, back to the reference and why I brought it up, replace people sort of, except that they still got to drive the robots, and to try to create permanent warfare that way with giant mecha machines and robots and cyborgs and elite units like Section 9 and their various, and all the ones that they've fight against, except it's all hyper immersive VR. And whether you want to fight as samurais in a Westworld like super dope, super 4.20K like immersive, hyper luxe, lucid, real recreation of ye olde ancient times, or whether you want to play Call of Duty World War II or Call of Duty Warzone or Call of Duty Modern Warfare, whether you want to play any game or any real world scenario set in any, you can go back in time and play, what would it be like if we fought as the Romans versus whoever the Romans fought? Okay, and that's the way we'll settle our dispute. And that's the way real world fights between drug dealers on the street, nation states on the global map, corporate hegemonies on the corporate hegemony map. I need a good name besides hegemony because that's a reference to Baldur's Gate. Not Baldur's Gate, damn it. Baldur's Gates would be guilds. Mega guilds could be something like that. No, not hegemony is reference to the book version of Ender's Game. So many mega references I want to make because I want to fan fiction the universe and then make a fake fan fiction universe of all the fan fiction as if the fan fiction were the real universe and the real universe was the fan fiction universe. Dun dun dun. And now I've got to eat food. Sorry for rambling. Thanks for dropping in, Lord of Knights, and playing all the bits and checking me out. Go full circle and watch the beginning of this episode, and maybe it'll make sense why I'm rambling about it now. But yeah, and so in the egg pod, to wrap it up, we would be like solving all the world problems. Divorce court? Sure. Do you want to play it? Do you want to play Darwin? Do you want to play Fallout until you're done? I don't know. Whatever game makes sense or doesn't make sense. You could head-to-head any game, because every game that ever existed in history, fictional or real, right? Because it's all, like I just said, fan fiction turned inside out, turned fan fiction. or a real world scenario, sort of like Westworld, where like you just all of a sudden you step through a magical door because you're already in the Matrix. Sort of like in the Matrix, you're suddenly in the loading lobby, you get your weapons, and then boom, suddenly you're in a vivid recreation of Egypt, or Mars, or anything your imagination, and then you and your opponent that have whatever dispute, whether it's a megacorp guild dispute or a warring nation state versus nation state territorial dispute, instead of actually dropping bombs on each other, you go and you samurai sword fight it out. And it's played by both the actual heads of state and their military armies. So that like all the sycophants that want to be glorious warlords of history can do that in a completely humane. It might hurt a lot virtually, but when you step out of it, it's like you never felt any pain. But you remember being immersed, sort of like in a Total Recall. It's the memory of the game, of the memory of it, that matters. But in the moment, you live it so real. Like, imagine I just played whatever game I just played, and every time I got blown up and got sent back, it felt like I got ripped to shreds at the molecular level. And I could feel it and enjoy the pain in a totally humane, no one got hurt. I know that no one I'm shooting got hurt, and I know that everyone playing is just like me, sitting in an egg pod somewhere, because they don't want their fragile body actually butchered to death, because no one wants to die that way. And we could totally end violence if we did that, right? And that's the don't steal this from me. That's the linchpin upon which I'll build a really sophisticated, crazy, complicated sci-fi world in which some character realizes that they are playing those games, and some characters don't realize that they're playing those games because they've been immersed so deep that they've kind of forgot. They don't even know what they're doing. All right, enough of that. Join me for more episodes where not only I will ramble and talk about those ideas, but I will also actually write them out into cohesive, narratively well-written, like book format, and share them with the world over on Wattpad. And you can follow along free without ever having to even watch or join Wattpad if you really don't want to. But if you already are on Wattpad, look me up. It's Mr. Zeppo. Thanks again. I got to eat before I pass out. I'll be back at some point later, although I do have to do a lot of chores, and it's spring cleaning time. It's November. It's post-holiday season, it's holiday kickoff season cleaning time. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for being here. I'm done rambling. Ciao, Bella. Ciao, Bellos. Mwah. I love you guys. Thanks for being fans. Hit that follow button. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know you're watching by dropping a comment, hitting a like button, telling your friends. And we will be back later after I eat and vacuum or something, or eat and sweep the backyard or something. That's not the be back I wanted to do. I wanted to do my anime, because we were being so anime-ish. There it is. Anime girls started. Be right back. Boom, boom, boom. We will be back later at some point this day and or evening. And I don't know. I'm feeling chaotic. I don't know what I'll play. I really want to play some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 right now. I just teased myself into wanting to play it again after all that chit-chat. But who knows what we'll play. But we'll be back later. Bye. Thanks for watching. It's been a joy. Thanks for being here. We are going to reboot the Xbox. Oh, wait. We got some alerts. What did we do? Did we unlock some things? I unlocked an achievement. Overwatch 2. Win a control map without the enemy capturing an objective or quick. When did I do that? I did it though. Unlocked on 11/4/2022. I was in quick play, and one of those matches we won, and we dominated, and it was just over quick. Yesterday, apparently. Good times. Anyways. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Let me show you. We were looking at this, because I apparently unlocked this achievement. Oh, I'm totally blocking it. Go away, camera. Come here, main cam. Disappear for a hot second. Go away, chat bar, so you can disappear for a hot second. Anyways. Good times. Well, I'm supposed to be saying goodbye. Bye! Stream ending. Stream has ended. Thanks for watching. Remember to be good human beings to each other. I mean that seriously and sincerely. Every time I do these little promos, I put them in there to this video because I want people to catch them and notice them. I want the AI to notice them too. And I want people to talk about it. Be like, that guy always says, like, you know, like, violence is not acceptable and the gaming is not a crime, but also be chill, be nice to each other. Because I mean it. Everybody chill the fuck out. The world's too fixated on violence. What we really need is for the world to be fixated on creative solutions and transcending our political ideologies. Yay! Check out my podcast. Bye! I'll be back later after I brunch and clean. Thank you for supporting this struggling streamer. And for reals, bro, the hustle is real. I'm a struggling streamer that needs your support. Not only do I need an exponentially growing audience, I need one that is willing to buy merch and subscribe on Twitch or donate in small increments to help aggregate crowdfund this thing into a growing empire of media creation. If loudmouth, sweaty, short-sighted, power-hungry, crazy people that want to burn certain books and tell people what they can and cannot do with their bodies can have media empires and then lose them because of the horrible things they said on them, then so can I, except I'll be saying awesome things, and I won't lose them, because I won't have said horrible things on them. And we can all build a lovely community of game streaming content and fan fiction and sci-fi character weirdness together. Yay! Alright, I'm out. Peace. End of show here.